let's make the railing. So with the floor piece that we designed for our balcony, select it and come up to Extensions, Papercraft, H-Lines. This is going to give us a path that if I double click and we see the nodes, has nodes for each of these outer corners and one for the last corner up here. This segment right here is our back, and we don't need it, so I'm going to get rid of that one. I'll select that node and press Control Delete. All right, now we have one line with nodes around that represent around the outside of our floor piece. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Bezier tool, B for Bezier, with snapping on. I want to draw a line from here to here. Double click it to close the line. Okay, so that is going to be our top rail. It's not going to have any separate nodes on because we won't be using tabs up there anyway. So with that one selected, I want to move it minus 1.2 inches in the Y direction. That will move it the height of my rail straight up. Okay, now we have these two paths, and I want to create a single path that's this size. So again, with my Bezier tool, actually select this bottom one first, then with the Bezier tool, click once on this node, and then start drawing to each of these nodes, but don't finish it off, just double click on this one. Let's change that color. There we go. So this is the outline of our railing, basically. We do not need this top line anymore. We still have all of our nodes down here, which is why we didn't end up finishing that when we were drawing around. We wanted to keep these nodes in place because we're going to be putting tabs along the bottom so we can fold it around our railing. Okay, so the next thing to do is to create a cloned tile or tiled clone. And we're going to do that by selecting our rectangle tool and drawing a skinny little rectangle here. I am going to change that to a path, Control-Shift-C, and then change the size of it to what I want. So I want mine to be 0.1 inches wide. I want it to be, say, 1 inch tall. You know what? 1.1 inches tall. I'm going to change the fill color to make it easier to see. And then I'm going to bring this into place, turn off snapping. Let's just zoom in on this piece here. So I'll select it and press 3 to zoom. This is the piece that we're going to do the tiled clone of. So I have it selected. I'm going to come up to Edit, Clone, Create Tiled Clones. We're going to do a shift of 60% as we move per column. So we're going to make a bunch of these basically columns. We're going to have one row of those, and I don't know how many I'll need. So I'm just going to guess it. I'm going to say 25. If there's more, we'll get rid of them. All right, so I'm just going to say Create. Looks like we could have used more. So Control-Z back out of that. Actually, I'll do a remove. And then let's make that 45. And create. All right. Pull back out. We see we created a few too many clones, so let's delete the extras. These are our tile clones. There's also one piece here that was used as the model for the clone. You don't need to have that, so you can delete it. Then select all of these pieces that you cloned but not this outside piece. Okay. All right. Just these pieces here. Control K to join them into a single path. Now, with that single path, let's align it inside of our outer railing. Control Shift A for the Align tool, and just center that horizontally and vertically. Now we have everything set up. All we need to do is, with both of these selected, Control Shift minus, and that will cut out those pieces. We still need to be able to attach this railing around the outside of our balcony floor and against the house. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to come up to Extensions, Papercraft, Tab Gen, and I'm going to apply some tabs. I'm going to make the length of the dash line 0.1, and the rest of it should be okay. Maybe the height of the tab doesn't need to be that big. Let's make that 0.2 so it doesn't stick in as far when we adhere it to the house. It is only on the outside. We don't want any tabs on all these little pieces here on the inside. So then I'm going to apply. Now, Tab Gen is non-destructive. That means your original piece is still there. You don't need it anymore unless, of course, you want to do some fancy coloring on your railing. For instance, maybe you'd want to have gold railing. So you could cut out another piece and put it on top of this. If you do that, I suggest you lengthen it about a couple hundredths of an inch, because as it folds around on the outside, you want everything to line up. So if I were doing this and I wanted that decorative piece, instead of 5.970, I would probably make that, maybe 6.05. That will make it just a tiny bit larger, and you can see it doesn't line up right now, but if we were to fold that around, it would probably be a little better. That's something you just kind of have to play with. There's no way to actually calculate that unless you know the thickness of your paper and glue everything really exactly. I'm not going to be putting any decoration on my paper, so I can delete that. So that's the pieces for the railing. The last thing we need to do is take this top tab off. There's no reason for that top tab to be on there, so let's get rid of it. Zoom in with the number 3, and with your node tool, F2, select just the score lines and the tab nodes. Don't select this one or this one because it's important for the shape of your railing. Press Control Delete, and you are done. So at this point, we have our railing ready to go for our balcony.